Melissa Gilbert finally spills the truth about her private life, and people can't stop talking about it. Born Melissa Ellen Gilbert on May 8, 1964 in Los Angeles, California, her story started in Hollywood's bright lights. She was adopted right after birth by actor and comedian Paul Gilbert and his wife, Barbara Crane, a talented former dancer and actress. From day one, Melissa was surrounded by performance, ambition, and that electric spark of show business. Even as a kid, she had something special that no one could ignore. Melissa wasn't just another child actor. She had this natural glow on camera that made people stop and pay attention.
It was nothing like what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but I walked out. The first thing I said was, "Oh my gosh, I have chills," because I walked out and the thunderous reaction was so overwhelming. My whole body just chilled right up. I was blown away.
Before most kids even learned their ABCs, she was already acting in TV commercials and landing guest roles on big shows. There was something real about her acting, an emotional honesty that pulled people in and made her unforgettable. Then came the role that changed everything. In 1974, when she was just 9 years old, she landed the part of Laura Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, based on Laura Ingalls Wilder's legendary books. The series became one of the biggest hits in American television history, a true family classic. Melissa brought Laura to life with such heart, curiosity, bravery, and that fiery determination that made people root for her every episode. Viewers practically watched her grow up on screen. Week after week, they saw both Laura and Melissa evolve, from a wide-eyed frontier girl to a strong, mature young woman. Her performances went far beyond what anyone expected from a child star, diving deep into tough themes like poverty, loss, faith, and what it really means to do the right thing. What a journey! Melissa didn't just act, she rose to the challenge like a total pro, showing a level of maturity that shocked everyone.
And just like thinking in the back of my head, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't. You got this, you got this, you got this.
Right.
Because I didn't want to start. I knew Michael. We had a half-an-hour interview, and he knows me really well, so I was really kind of anticipating what questions he might ask,
Right.
and so I didn't want to start out crying because I knew he would make fun of me.
Her performances still hit deep, even decades later. Working side by side with Michael Landon, who played her on-screen dad, Charles Ingalls, and was the true creative heartbeat of Little House on the Prairie, Melissa didn't just grow as an actress, she learned how to tell stories that mattered. Michael Landon became more than a co-star, he became her mentor. He taught her about hard work, honesty, and how television could actually move people's hearts. He showed her that acting wasn't just about lines, it was about truth, discipline, and passion. The connection she built with the cast and crew became something special, like a second family that she carried with her for life. Even when the series wrapped in 1983, the market left on her and the audience never faded away.
Together, we vacationed together. Our families went out on our parents went out on New Year's Eve together. We got in trouble together. We got into mischief together. I mean, we were like cousins or siblings, very, very close.
To millions around the world, Laura Ingalls wasn't just a TV character. She felt real, like a loyal friend people grew up with. And Melissa Gilbert, she became a symbol of strength, comfort, and genuine heart on screen. But growing up in the spotlight wasn't easy. Making that shift from child star to adult actress is one of Hollywood's toughest battles. Melissa refused to back down. After Little House on the Prairie, she worked non-stop to reinvent herself, taking on bold roles in TV dramas, stage plays, and made-for-TV movies. One standout was The Miracle Worker, where she played Helen Keller, a powerful role that proved her emotional depth and fearless commitment to her craft. She wasn't just surviving Hollywood, she was owning it. When Melissa hit the stage, it was like she unlocked a whole new version of herself.
You know, the weight of it didn't hit me because all of the technical stuff of getting it done at first when, it all happened really fast. Mike called me and asked me if I'd be interested. I said yes, and then there was nothing, and then there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, he said, we need you on Tuesday, and this was on a Thursday, and renegotiating my contract and getting me to Vancouver and blah, 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 blah.
Theater gave her the freedom to break out of that sweet, picture-perfect image everyone knew from Little House on the Prairie. Live performances let her show off a raw, fearless side, a woman ready to be seen for who she truly was. Every role she played on stage was a statement. I'm not just a girl from TV anymore. But behind all that spotlight shine, her real life was far from easy. Growing up in fame's harsh glare took a serious toll. Melissa's been open about the tough stuff, the pressure to stay perfect, messy family situations, and her battles with addiction and self-doubt. It wasn't some Hollywood fairy tale. It was real, painful, and complicated. Instead of hiding her scars, she faced them head-on. Melissa used brutal honesty as her way to heal, and that courage became one of the most powerful parts of her story. By sharing her truth, she shattered the illusion of the flawless child star and gave comfort to others struggling in silence. Her openness turned pain into purpose, and that's what makes her legacy so strong. But Melissa wasn't just about the spotlight. She made big moves behind the scenes, too. From 2001 to 2005, she served as president of the Screen Actors Union, one of the youngest ever to lead the union. She stood up for performers when the industry was changing fast, fighting for fairness and respect for actors everywhere. Her leadership came straight from the heart, built on empathy and first-hand experience of what it's like to grow up under pressure. Both her personal and professional journeys were filled with highs, heartbreaks, and hard-won lessons. Melissa Gilbert lived her life out loud, a woman who faced fame too soon but never stopped standing tall. Melissa's teenage years weren't just about growing up, they were front-page news. Her love life became the talk of Hollywood when she dated two future megastars, Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe. Those relationships turned into pop culture legends, the kind of stories that fans still whisper about today. Back then, Melissa was already a major star thanks to Little House on the Prairie, and every move she made headlines. These early romances put her right in the center of young Hollywood's glittering chaos. Even though the relationships didn't last, they taught her big lessons about love, heartbreak, and what it really means to date while the whole world is watching. Every experience, every sweet moment and painful ending helped shape her emotional strength and her understanding of what she truly wanted in love. Then, on February 22, 1988, Melissa took a huge step. She got married for the first time to actor and producer Bo Brinkman. After years of living in front of cameras, she was craving something real, a bit of peace and stability. Brinkman, who also came from the entertainment world, seemed to understand that pressure better than anyone else. Their connection felt genuine, like they were both searching for normalcy in a world that rarely offered it. That marriage marked a turning point. Melissa was no longer the TV kid America watched grow up. She was now a woman building her own life and family. The couple soon welcomed their son, Dakota Paul Brinkman, and that changed everything. Becoming a mother grounded her in ways fame never could. It gave her heart a new rhythm and a purpose that went deeper than any role she'd ever played. Even with all the love and good intentions, Melissa and Bo Brinkman's marriage started to fall apart under the weight of real-life struggles. What started with hope slowly turned into heartbreak. By 1992, after 4 intense years together, the couple made the painful decision to split. The divorce hit Melissa hard, but she stayed strong. Her focus was on her son, Dakota, and giving him a loving, steady home no matter what. Still believing in love, Melissa gave her heart another chance. On January 1, 1995, she married actor and Bruce Boxleiter, a man known for his work in both TV and film, and someone who brought a calm, mature energy into her world. Their union felt like a brand new beginning, a fresh start filled with mutual respect, understanding, and the hope that this time love would last. Then came one of the most emotional moments of her life. On October 6, 1995, Melissa gave birth to her second son, Michael. The name wasn't chosen at random. It carried deep meaning. She named him in honor of Michael Landon, her beloved Little House on the Prairie co-star, mentor, and father figure. That choice was a heartfelt tribute to the man who had taught her strength, kindness, and family, both on screen and off. Landon's influence never left her. His lessons shaped her values and her confidence long after the camera stopped rolling. Naming her son after him wasn't just sentimental, it was Melissa's way of saying thank you for the wisdom and guidance that shaped her life. For a while, Melissa and Bruce Boxleiter seemed to have built a peaceful, blended family, one grounded in love, shared respect, and the dream of lasting harmony.
As time went on, cracks began to show in Melissa and Bruce Boxleitner's marriage. The mix of two demanding careers, parenting responsibilities, and personal growth created tension that slowly pulled them apart. What once felt solid began to crumble. By August 22, 2011, Melissa made the heartbreaking decision to file for divorce, officially ending their long relationship. It wasn't easy. The separation was filled with emotion and tough lessons that would stay with her forever. But instead of letting the pain define her, Melissa faced it with honesty and grace. She spoke openly about the emotional toll of the breakup, refusing to hide behind Hollywood's glossy image. Through it all, she stayed devoted to her kids and focused on finding herself again, rebuilding her life with a new sense of clarity, strength, and purpose. Then, love stepped back into her life when she least expected it. On April 24, 2013, Melissa married actor and director Timothy Busfield in a quiet, beautiful ceremony at the stunning San Ysidro Ranch in Santa Barbara, California. The setting, romantic, peaceful, and full of charm, perfectly reflected the kind of love they shared. This wasn't a Hollywood fairy tale, it was something real, grounded, and deeply affectionate. Both Melissa and Timothy had been through marriage before, each bringing children and life experience into the union. Together, they created a blended family built on understanding, patience, and mutual respect, not fantasy, but reality. Their relationship thrived on emotional honesty and a true partnership born from surviving life's storms. But even after finding peace, new challenges came knocking. By mid-January 2026, Melissa Gilbert was thrust back into the public spotlight, facing one of the most painful moments of her life. Long whispered rumors about her private world suddenly exploded into national headlines, forcing her once again to stand strong while the world watched. For years, Melissa Gilbert stood as a symbol of strength, honesty, and compassion. To millions, she wasn't just the girl from Little House on the Prairie, she was a living example of resilience and heart. Her image as Laura Ingalls had carried over into real life, strengthened even more by her activism and her raw, unfiltered memoirs that revealed her truth without sugarcoating it. But in early 2026, everything changed. This time, the headlines weren't about her career, her health, or even her politics. This time, it was personal, painfully personal. It was about her marriage, her trust, and the devastating shock of seeing her private life pulled into a legal storm that no one saw coming. On January 9, 2026, major media outlets broke the news that New Mexico authorities had issued a warrant for the arrest of her husband, actor and director Timothy Busfield. According to official reports, Busfield was accused of committing serious crimes during the production of a television series. The allegations were detailed and deeply troubling, involving claims that quickly drew national attention. Authorities stated that Busfield faced multiple felony counts related to abuse, with an investigation led by the Albuquerque Police Department. The weight of these accusations hit the entertainment world like an earthquake. Fans were stunned, colleagues were silent, and the industry was in disbelief. For Melissa, the emotional impact was enormous. The man she had publicly called her life partner was now at the center of a case that cut straight to her core values. As someone who had spent years supporting child welfare and advocating for accountability in Hollywood, she suddenly found herself caught between heartbreak and disbelief. It wasn't just about headlines, it was about her integrity, her marriage, and the painful question of what happens when the life you built starts to crumble in front of everyone's eyes. When the shocking news broke, Melissa Gilbert didn't stay silent. She spoke from the heart. In a statement released to the press, she admitted just how devastating the moment was, saying, "I am shocked, heartbroken and struggling to comprehend the weight of what has been alleged. Her words carried raw pain and disbelief, but also a deep respect for the truth. She made it clear that the legal process had to be respected, adding, "These are allegations, not conclusions, and the legal system must be allowed to do its work." Reports later revealed that the investigation into Timothy Busfield began quietly in November 2024 when a University of New Mexico doctor first raised concerns that sparked a formal inquiry. For months, everything unfolded behind closed doors until the story finally exploded into the public eye. Busfield's legal team fiercely rejected the claims, calling them completely false and suggesting they were born out of resentment after the child actors were removed from the production. Melissa, caught in the storm, handled the chaos with restraint and composure. She said, "I am not a judge, and I cannot pretend to know all the facts. What I do know is that this situation is deeply painful for everyone involved." Her calm, measured words showed the impossible position she was in, torn between love, disbelief, and her lifelong commitment to fairness. But the fallout was swift and brutal. NBC announced it would pull an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit featuring Busfield as a judge, citing sensitivity to the ongoing allegations. The irony hit hard, an actor known for playing a figure of justice suddenly facing the darkest accusations imaginable. Even Melissa couldn't ignore how surreal it all felt. The timing, the symbolism, the heartbreak, it was almost too much to take in. Melissa Gilbert reportedly said, "It feels like watching your life fracture in real time, piece by piece." The heartbreak in her words said it all. By January 12th, news broke that police still hadn't located Timothy Busfield 3 days after the warrant had been issued. The search intensified as the U.S. Marshals joined the hunt, and speculation across the media exploded. Questions swirled everywhere. Where was Busfield? What did Melissa know? How was she holding up under the crushing weight of it all? Melissa didn't let rumors control the story. She faced them head on. She stated, "I have cooperated fully and transparently. I have nothing to hide, and I will not obstruct justice in any way." Her words came through strong and steady, proving she was determined to handle the nightmare with dignity and truth. Then, on January 13th, the case took a dramatic turn. Busfield turned himself in to authorities. But for Melissa, it wasn't closure. It was the start of a new, painful chapter. "Turning himself in does not bring clarity or peace," she quietly said. "It simply means that the process begins in earnest." Her tone carried heartbreak, but also an unmistakable strength, the kind that only comes from surviving public pain with courage. Melissa also made sure to center what truly mattered, saying, "If children have been harmed, they deserve protection, compassion, and truth above all else." Those words cut through the noise, a reminder that even in her own suffering, she still stood by her lifelong principles of empathy and accountability. In the end, Melissa didn't lean into shock value or anger. She showed herself as a woman torn between love, disbelief, and an unshakable sense of responsibility. "I am navigating this as a wife, a mother, and a human being," she concluded. "I ask for privacy, restraint, and empathy for all families affected by this, including my own." As the legal battle continues, her calm, measured response has stood out, not defensive, not dramatic, but deeply human. Melissa Gilbert's story is a brutal reminder that even those who spent a lifetime under bright lights aren't shielded from personal tragedy. Sometimes the bravest act isn't fighting back, it's facing the storm with quiet honesty and grace. If you found this story powerful, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. What do you think about Melissa Gilbert's strength through all this?